We'll go and find Daddy. See what Daddy's doing. I think I know where he is. Hi, we're Emily, Lee and Hudson. We're from the UK, and after some years living abroad in Thailand and Gozo, where we got married, we wanted to be closer to nature with our own land for self-sufficiency. So we followed our dream and moved to rural Bulgaria in 2019 in a bid to become debt and stress-free and property owners. Follow us on our journey as we renovate our future home, showcase Bulgarian village life and share some useful tips as we learn along the way. We've got big plans on a tiny budget. Welcome to Our Derelict Dream. So we just found Lee shaking the bush to get all the berries.
Well, some.
Ooh.
There's so many on the ground, which are fine.
So many. Yeah, I mean, this is just an abundance of berries. They look lovely. Get these washed up. See if they're nice and sweet. You could just pick them.
Yeah, but then you squash it and you end up with black hands.
Just come out to the driveway because I must share with you, I wish we had smell-o-vision. Surely we can do that by now, it's 2022. Anyway, this is the fragrant linden tree or lime tree. It's a tilia, and you'll see it's got these tiny little yellow flowers. We've got one in the front of the house here, and they're scattered all over the village. And my goodness, the smell is the most amazing thing ever, isn't it? So they're planted, they're kind of a lot across Europe and Asia, and they're planted a lot on walkways and things because from summer solstice, sort of mid-June onwards, that they bloom. And the smell is just, it's the most gorgeous smell ever, and the whole air of the whole village, even if you're not standing next to it, to one, you can smell one, and it's just stunning. So maybe someone's made a perfume or a scent out of it, I don't know, because I'd like to find it. If so, I'd have it in a candle all year round. It's absolutely gorgeous. So luckily there's lots of those in Bulgaria, so you'll know when you smell one. It's mesmerising. Dog. It is Friday morning. And I haven't got much to report this week. We've had the weather doesn't make up its mind. We wake up and it's really kind of wet, cold, lots of rain in June, but then by 11 o'clock it's 30 degrees again, so you never know what to wear. Yeah. We're heading into BT this morning to do some errands. Usual stuff, buy nappies, get the kid to sleep in the back of the car. And we're meeting our friends Liz and Mike because we lent them a tool which we now need back to complete the bedroom. Lee's sort of he's pulled his back again, so he's been a little bit out of action on the big jobs. So just been doing some gentle painting. So nothing really sort of too exciting to report on the DIY front.
Nothing crazy.
No. Actually really glad we've had a lot of rain because I'm worried about my roses. And then we went and bought some fertiliser for it because I'm not a gardener really. I've only ever lived in flats without gardens, and anything I had indoors died. So I'm experimenting.
Not green fingered.
We want to be green fingered, but it's all going to be a bit trial and error initially.
They're really good with weeds.
Yeah.
We managed to grow a lot of weeds.
Grow a lot of weeds really well, and so we'll see. I've also bought this beautiful lily. Lilies seem to grow really well in other people's gardens out here, so I bought this most amazing orange lily. It was 10 lev, so I planted that, so we'll see what that's like over the weekend. We'll see. So this is a recent addition to our town of Zatteritz. So it's a brand new park for kids, and it looks really good. We went and visited it yesterday and thought this is great. They spent what, 400,000?
Yeah.
400,000 on this. It's all very nice, but if you look at a closer level, it's a bit dangerous.
It's just been thrown together, isn't it?
I mean, it was great because it provided work for locals and like, you know, it's obviously brilliant for the kids.
But not skilled craftsmen, shall we say?
I mean, honestly, the slide comes off, as in it's not bolted in.
It's not attached at the top.
No, they haven't tried. Where they have bolted things in, they've left the bolt sticking out. So at the bottom of the slide, you've got a bolt sticking out, which is stupid.
A couple of inches.
And yeah, things aren't attached properly. Like Lee can hand unscrew most of the framing elements. So surely the kids are going to have a go at that, or. If that's what you do, maybe kids would do that too.
Well, I don't know. Normally they're covered.
Yeah, it just seems a little bit. It needs
like
some
not been finished.
Yeah, it needs some fine tuning to actually make it safe.
Yeah.
Lee might go down there and tighten up some bits himself.
I think I will, just in case.
Yeah.
We don't want anyone to get hurt.
No.
You know, it's great that it's there, but if it's dangerous, no one's going to use it. So.
But
yeah, I'll sort it out.
Yeah, you sort of sometimes feel with this EU funding, which is what's happened. It's like 400,000 quid. It's just sort of put in places to make it look like it's being spent well, but really it's kind of not.
Well, I can't imagine that it cost 400.
No, we have no idea where that's come from. But
and
anyway,
there's a big sign saying, "Oh, this is where the funds have come from. This is how much it is." But I'm pretty sure someone has just bought a nice house somewhere instead.
Probably.
It's got to be, because you could make this for 20 grand.
Probably, yeah. But anyway, we appreciate the effort. It makes the place look nicer for sure.
Yeah, don't want to just be negative.
No.
But we want to...
Want it to be safe for the children.
Exactly.
Good morning. Or good afternoon for us. Very, very hot day. Oh my goodness, we've just been for a walk down the river where it feels slightly cooler. And Lee is working hard on the coving. Hardish. Let's go and have a look. Oh, the difference that a little bit of polystyrene can make. Is it polystyrene?
It is, yeah.
So we'll get some Lee in action shots. You can explain in a bit how you do your cuts. It all sounds a bit complicated.
It is a bit. It's compound miter cuts, so it's a 45 on a 45, if that makes any sense to anyone. It's that. There you go.
It's that.
Yeah.
Or maybe we'll do a little how-to in a minute.
So this would be a normal cut that you would just take from the end of the piece. As you can see, it's flat across here.
Hold on, got to get back up to you.
Sorry. As you can see, it's flat across here. So when that goes into the wall, it doesn't match with the other side. It'll kind of be on that angle, so you'll have a huge hole, sort of like an eye in the middle. So you have to cut this 45 on a 45, which will look something more like that. So you can see the angle there. So basically, in doing that means that I can lay 4 sheets flat across the saw, so I'm able to cut that compound miter. Now, you can buy special, I suppose they're called jigs, where it will actually sit the piece at the correct angle, and then you would just do a 45. Instead of going and buying one, wasting 20 quid, we've got this, so we might as well use it. Just a bit more measuring, a little bit more confusing.
Oh, I've just realised, I've just worked it out.
What?
That saw is at an angle.
Oh, well done. Did you not notice?
No.
What is it, mate?
Tools.
Is it tools?
Say it now.
You won't say tools now, will you?
Yeah. Oh, that's a phone.
That's Daddy's phone.
Okay, take 2 of that advice.
That advice was garbage. Obviously you assume that your walls are kind of meeting at a 90. They're not in this house anyway. But if you do a 45 and 45, which you think makes a 90, it ain't gonna work. I found that out after sticking 3 or 4 bits, was it? Wasted so much time. If you want your piece to be flat like this when you're cutting it, which is what I want to do, rather than trying to support it at 45, you have to set the base to 31.6 degrees and the bevel to 33.9. So this is my disappointed face. I'm disappointed in myself for not fully understanding what I was meant to do. So in order to get these pieces to meet how they are on their angle, correct with the wall, which we're assuming is 90, but it's not, obviously, especially in these old houses. I think even new builds, you wouldn't get a 90-degree corner. Yeah, so what you have to do is you have to take your compound miter saw and you have to set your base to 31.6 degrees. Now, that whole measurement just seems real funny to me, but trust me, it works. 31.6 degrees, and you can change the base from left to right depending on if you're cutting an inside or an outside corner, and you want your bevel to stay the same throughout, and that's going to be a 33.9. Real confusing. So everything that I said to you before, don't listen to it, it was absolute garbage. Yeah, I mean there's a few kind of slight measurements that you might need to change. Keep the bevel the same, but you might have to change a few of the angles just to get some of your weird corners to fit. But also do bear in mind, this is so you can lay your piece of trim, cornicing, whatever it is that you want to cut. It's so that you can lay it flat on the base. If you're cutting at a 45-degree angle, you don't have to do any of this, but as you can see, this is not supported very well. Much easier to do it face down. And now we've got that blunder out of the way, I can actually start putting things up, making things as nice as possible before we do painting. I want to get all of that done before we do the floor. You may have seen in our last video, I started laying the tiled floor. I took it all up. I wasn't happy with the product that I was using. It had a real thick grain size. Now this, again, totally my fault, trying to explain to the guy in the shop what I'm after, what I'm looking for. And I wanted something with, almost real fine sand so that I could make it real wet, spread it all out across the room and get it nice and level. Now what I ended up with was a product that kind of is that. It's a screed, but the grain size is up to 4 millimeters. So you can imagine trying to float that out and make it level. You've got essentially bits of gravel in it, so that was almost impossible. I did, however, muddle on. Tried to work with the tiles, which are 60 by 15. So when you had a slight variation, you would get the ends of those tiles lifting or being a dip to the next one, and it just wasn't good. It wasn't going to work. And we were using a lot more material trying to get all of the tiles nice and level. So I ripped it all up, which took only about half an hour actually. It was all right. I broke 2 tiles when taking it out, so that's all right. Got them all stacked over here. As you can see, it was probably 6 or 7 boxes that I had already laid down. It was almost the entire room. And I said, no, I'm not having this. So took them all up, got a new screed, which was Weber floor, I think it was called. Maybe I'll put up a picture here. It was about 6 or 7 lead for a bag, and one bag will do 16 square meters, 1 millimeter. So I kind of worked out all of the dips and the valleys that we had on the existing screed that I did, and yeah, took all of that into consideration, and I think I used 8 bags. Yeah, so it wasn't expensive, it was just a waste of time, and actually we've got a slightly thicker floor now, and it will work better with the underfloor heating going through into the tile. So kind of a blessing in disguise, but yeah, it was a lot of work for nothing.